I'm Dan Ireland. This is Trailers from Hell. Over the years, Alfred Hitchcock's Marnie has been considered a flop, a disaster, terribly acted, and a mess. And it's also been considered his greatest undiscovered, brilliant masterpiece about obsessive love in the vein of Vertigo. I tend to go with the latter. I think it's an amazing film, and I also think it's probably the best score of Bernard Herrmann. As you can see by this trailer, Universal wasn't quite sure how to sell the film, so they kept mentioning the word sex. That is really a lot to do with Marnie. Marnie is the story of a frigid woman who has problems with her husband, a few problems with being a little bit of a kleptomaniac, and basically having a childhood that is like in the past that she can't face. This was originally conceived for Princess Grace Kelly, who was going to go along with the picture, and then at the very last moment decided that she couldn't do it because Prince Rainier forbade her to do it. So that left Alfred Hitchcock in a bit of a quandary because he had designed the film so completely with her in mind. And if you imagine the film with her in mind, you could perhaps think that the film is not as successful as it could have been. However, if you look at this film, it probably is, if not, one of the very finest performances of Sean Connery's career. He's so natural, he's so good, and it was really at the very beginning of his Bond success, right around the time of From Russia with Love and Goldfinger. And Tippi Hedren, who really got a bad rap as being a dumb blonde in The Birds, really puts herself out in this film. In fact, this performance is beautiful. If you look at it again, there's no way that any critic in the world would savage her performance here. It's so well balanced. It's impossible to dislike her, at least from my perspective, that is. I'm prejudiced, if you haven't noticed yet. Also, the score here is one of the most sumptuous Bernard Herrmann scores ever written. It's right up there with The Ghost of Mrs. Muir and Vertigo. And it really fits the film so perfectly. Hitchcock really loved to go to the deep psyche of any kind of character that he was portraying, especially in obsessive and compulsive behavior. And here he really pulls it out of Hedren. This is a performance that any actor today would look at and be impressed with. In fact, I've shown it to several actresses in particular, Jessica Chastain, before we did Jolene, and she was blown away by her performance, and she couldn't believe that Tippi Hedren did not get rave reviews. Well, she didn't get rave reviews, and the film is still controversial, but for all that, it still lives as one of his very best films, and some say it's his final masterpiece, and I tend to agree with them. The other thing that's great about this film is Louise Latham, who plays Marnie's mother, and at the time she was 8 years older than Tippi Hedren, and her performance is so convincing that you would never in a million years believe it. In fact, it's as strong as Angela Lansbury's performance in The Manchurian Candidate opposite Lawrence Harvey, believing that character, and there was, I think, 8 years in their age difference too. Marnie is a film about sex and obsession and depth, and it doesn't pull back from the intimacy of the time of 1964 of what it would allow. And Sean Connery gives it such heart that it's really impossible not to fall in love with him. The other unsung hero of this film is actress Diane Baker, who was so glorious in The Diary of Anne Frank, Mirage with Gregory Peck, and here she has so much fun playing the niece to Sean Connery's character that it's impossible not to love her. So make your own mind up. Is Alfred Hitchcock's film a flop? Is Alfred Hitchcock's film a masterpiece? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it a sex story? It's just a damn good film that really deserves a revisit. If you haven't seen anything by Alfred Hitchcock lately, take this one out of the beautiful packet that was just released on Blu-ray and DVD and have a second look at Marnie. The Blu-ray transfer is gorgeous. The film is so worth it, and I guarantee you, you will not be bored.